Today we will be talking about the Samyang 18mm f2.8 and why I've decided to send it back. Hi, my name's Matt and recently I've decided to start a new business. And I thought I'd document that whole process so you can learn from my successes and avoid my mistakes. If that sounds like your cup of tea, do me a favor and subscribe. So, the Samyang 18mm. Overall, it's a great lens for the money. In Europe, it retails for about 300 to 350 euros, so it's quite cheap for an ultra-wide lens. But I find it to be too wide, and with a wide lens comes a lot of distortion. And even though I've activated the lens correction in my camera, I still have the issue that the images I'm taking with it look kind of distorted, and therefore not gonna buy it or not gonna keep it. I originally thought I'd get this lens to put on my gimbal and use it as an ultra wide angle lens for gimbal work. But besides the distortion factor, I find it to be too wide, if you know what I mean. It's so wide that for my case, I'm having trouble framing the shot because it's so ridiculously wide that I'm hardly able to frame a shot that I like. And I'm gonna put this on right in a moment for you to see, but this is a 50mm, by the way, f1.8, shooting at f1.8 at the moment. And in my opinion, for an interview style scenario like this, it doesn't work. It's far too wide. I imagine that you see the wall over here and all the way over there, including my improvised light stand. But I don't know, the build quality seems to be decent for the price. And there are rumors that this thing, the mount, is plastic, but from the temperature, it feels like metal or high value plastic. But yeah, the lens hood, in reviews I've read that it feels and behaves like a yogurt cup, and I didn't understand what that was supposed to mean. But in the end, now that I'm holding it in my hand, it really is a yogurt cup. Plastic fantastic, as some people say. And the screwing mechanism is, if you don't line it up perfectly, you will end up fiddling around with it quite a while. And even if you line it up perfectly on the white spots, the thing is, it's so flexible that it's hard to line it up properly. So here we go. And that makes it hard to use when I'm out about filming, to screw it on, screw it off. And I don't always want to leave the lens hood on, especially indoors. It's mainly for protection, more for protection than for actual light flare avoidance. The focus ring or focus wheel turns quite nice and works perfectly well. So there's nothing bad with this lens. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just that I don't feel it, if that makes more sense. It's not a lens that I'd like to keep in my bag, even though it's quite light, 150, 180 grams, if even that much. But that being said, it's not a lens that I intend to keep. And by the way, you get this nice casing, which actually looks more premium and feels more premium than the lens itself. So it fits in there perfectly, and it's shaped so you can't put it in the wrong way. And there you have a nicely secured lens. That being said, let me switch to the 18mm so you can see for yourself what it would look like in this kind of scenario. So there you have it. This is the Samyang 18mm at f2.8. And as you can see, you see my improvised light stand with the ring light in it, which doesn't have a proper diffuser, so I've put paper around it. And this is basically everything from a viewpoint perspective that you can see. You see all the stuff on the table. It's not meant to be used in this kind of scenario. That's a given, that's a fact. Just so you see the difference it makes from 18 to 50mm, I find it hard to use from a composition point of view. So now we are back on the 50mm at f1.8 with an ND in front of it, properly exposed. And it's a great lens for the money. Just let me make this perfectly clear. Great lens for the money, but not for me, because I've tested it, and here is some footage of what I've done with it. I've done some astro time lapses, I've done some regular time lapses, I've done some photos, and I'm more of a close to the subject kind of videographer and photographer, and not much of an wide angle photographer. And for landscapes, for the price, you can't go better. I haven't seen a lens so far that has this kind of image quality for that low of a price. So that being said, if you're looking for landscape or architecture lens, full frame, you can't go wrong with this one. If you, like me, prefer images that are closer to the subject, have more background blur, and are more isolated, then go with another lens, not this one. I hope this rambling kind of figuring out for myself what I think about this lens and if I should keep it or return it style video helpful, then do me a favor and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.